So welcome back, everybody. This is Paul again, another of our series about best stuff to buy and products that we recommend. And today I'm doing a series about guitars, and specifically the 6-string acoustic guitars. Now, I often tell people that a lot of things that are made a long time ago were made really, really well. A lot of young people don't realize that, but knowing that allows you to find some really, really great bargains, and especially in the area of guitars, because honestly with the guitar sometimes age is better, much better, because the wood is seasoned and maybe it's been played and it has some beautiful vibes about it and so on. So a good guitar will last a very, very long time. And you know, you go to a guitar store these days and you go up and, you know, they're made by very professional manufacturing techniques, big companies and so on, and they cut the wood all nicely and everything, but it's really hard to get like 40-year-old wood. And this perfect guitar is an example here of a beautiful opportunity that people can get online. This guitar was made by a company named Lyle, and they did some business in the late 60s and early 70s. And at that time, a lot of people were competing to try to make really, really good guitars and so on, because of Fender and Guild and some of the other ones. So basically, this company tried to make really good high reproduction guitars. Now, there are a lot of repros out there. Older guitars doesn't necessarily mean better, because some of them weren't built very well. But if a guitar is still playing really, really well after 40 years and still looks nice and has a straight neck, I mean, what can you say? You know, it's a good guitar, no doubt about it. So this particular guitar I got at a thrift store. Now, I put some new strings on it. I put a compensated bridge saddle on here, and I'm going to file that down a little bit more. But if I look at the neck, I mean, it is just really, really nice. Plays smooth, and it's a kind of an imitation of a Martin style headstock. It was made in Korea, it says here. Now, this company went out of business, like I said, in the early 70s or something, and they produced this fantastic guitar. You know, there's a lot of them out there that are very undervalued. I've had a number of Lyle guitars. I have an electric guitar. I have also a nylon string. But anyway, I'll get to demonstrate a few other things here. For one thing, right now I'm using a Dean Markley acoustic pickup here that sticks on anywhere in your guitar. I prefer it right here, and I'm going to test it out later. But in the first place, I'm just going to show you this guitar without any kind of amplification or anything. Now, I'm just going to play some simple chords, chords of Amazing Grace or something very simple that anyone can recognize. I have this guitar tuned down 1 notch to D, because I like, especially to have one guitar that's tuned a little down, because there's certain songs that are a little bit better for my voice range and sound a little nicer. Plus the strings are just a little bit more relaxed, and they tend to vibrate and have a nice sustain to them. So again, when strings I have on here are new Elixir Polyweb. I got them recommended because a guy named Scott Grove on YouTube highly recommended them, and honestly I put them on all my guitars now. I love them. They really last a long time, and they have a delightful flexibility and sound to them. So now that's that basic guitar, you know, simple 3 chords here. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to run this thing through a Brownsville sustain, a compressor. That's this one right here. There's lots of different kinds of these. This one works fine for me. It has 3 knobs that basically got it set on the middle. I put it in, and here's without the sustain. The amp I'm using is a Tiesco Vintage Tube 88, 2 8-inch speakers, about a 15 watt. nice sound. Again, that's an older amp. It's only 8-inch speakers. It would do well with maybe some 10s or 12s. And I have the settings on the sustain about 3/4, and I have basically I've toned it down. I mean, that has a treble and a bass, and I can adjust it, but I'm not gonna. There you go. Beautiful guitar. Lyle, dark wood, very well made, 40-year-old, 1970s, vintage 6-string. Okay, now the second guitar I'm going to demonstrate here is a company named Madera. This guitar was made under the auspices and support of Guild back in the 70s. This is kind of a performance model. It's really, really beautiful. It's got a 3-piece back, and this is an odd guitar in that it's made of maple, and I believe the front may be spruce, but the rest is maple. And it's got a rosewood neck, and it's straight. It's beautiful. It's got really nice pickups on it. It just has a really beautiful sound to it. And like I said, you know, you take care of a guitar for a long time. If it's still playing well after 40 years, then it's a good guitar. There's a sustain. Now this guitar, again, Madera is a company, the Guild was producing really fine guitars back in the 60s and 70s. And they made a contract, I guess it was a Japanese company, to make these. And again, this has got a special, it's got really, really nice fine work around here, like mother of pearl kind of stuff, all along the sides, the dot inlays, and of course the neck is very unusual. Wow, beautiful guitar. And for the price I paid, again, you can't buy this. Okay, now I'm going to switch up the amp. Okay, this is the same guitar, the Madera. Now again, the speakers and pickup on this particular camera may not be, it's definitely not concert quality, but again, this is a guitar that has a really, really nice neck. It's really well professionally set up. And actually, honestly, this guitar I got for such a great price because it had been repaired. This particular model is quite rare. It's a performance model, and I just love it. And it has the same brand as when my first guitar. So this had a little few dings here and there. People get heavy with the pickups and everything, but with the picks, but has a very solid projection, and it's actually got a little bit brighter. I think it's the wood, the maple or whatever, but it has great sound. Again, there is the Madera P500 Dreadnought from the 70s. So now here we have a beautiful guitar made by Ovation in the 70s. Again, the 70s, a lot of competition, and Ovation came up with this innovation of having this just non-warpable, indestructible practically back, dome kind of back, and then it has the kind of a metal neck. I believe that neck is aluminum. I mean, it's very, very straight. They don't give you an adjustment except for over here if you want to sand that down. But basically, it's really solid after all these years. Has a great playable neck, The neck is kind of a personal taste. You know, people like different necks for their hands, but then if it stays in tune and so on. Now, a guitar like this, what's a great advantage? It's really hard to beat. I mean, this particular model was known to have gotten some cracks in the lacquer because of the expansion and contraction. It doesn't really affect the playing at all. It's just surface cracks, doesn't go into the wood. And again, you know, 40 years. 40 years. And it's a kind of guitar that you can take camping. It's just really, really hard to beat up. Again, the applause by Ovation. Beautiful guitar. Again, you can pick these up. I can't even say the price I got for that guitar. So I'm back with another guitar. This is made by a company named Diastone. Now, again, Martin was the company to really beat for a certain type of guitar. They just used really, really good wood and great construction techniques and so on. They intended their guitars to last a long time. They have a very well-deserved reputation, but they're very, very expensive. I had a friend who had an original Martin of the type that this was modeled after, and it had no adjustment in the neck, no bar, and she had to spend like $1,800 just to fix it. And it's like a $4,000 guitar. Now, this guitar I got for a ridiculously good price because it's an unknown. It's made by a company named Diastone. They're very rare, one of the rarest, I think, and they tried to make a really good guitar to really seriously compete with Martin. And there were a lot of Martin knockoffs that were not very good at all. But this one has extremely robust construction, very solid, has a deep tone to it. It's had some nicks over the years, but after, again, this is 70s. After 40 years, all I did was I put in a different bridge saddle here, and I need to sand that down a little bit, but it has great intonation after all these years, a straight neck, flat. Again, there's guitars out there. If you're just starting, and people who play, they want to, even if they have money, they want to spend it on other kinds of things for their music career or practice or hobby, and you want to save money anytime you can. So, you know, if you get a guitar like this, and honestly, this guitar, I dare anybody to compare it. Like, you know, with a $4,000 Martin, they say, okay, well, you know, it doesn't sound quite like a $4,000 Martin, but it's like 1/20th of the price, you know, literally. So, again, you can find bargains out there if you look for them. I'm trying to help people understand that there's quality out there that's being overlooked. You walk into a store these days and get some guitar, even if it's made by Fender, like, oh, it's made in China. Well, this is made in Japan by hand, long time ago. So once again, another fine guitar.